What's good, powerful people? This is the Power Living with Purpose podcast with David C. Henderson, and this is Midweek Motivation. Don't just tell people you care, actually show them. All right, and this week is a tribute to Bruno Brooks, Cedric Bruno Brooks, the beloved coach and community organizer in Tuskegee, Macon County and surrounding areas. Tragically lost him last week. He was my son's coach with basketball, but he coached every sport, coordinated just about every sport, every age group, all of that stuff, from the little kids all the way up. I've been refereeing a total of 20 years of high school basketball and other sports, and in this area, probably 15 years. And I always remember Bruno being involved with something. So here's the thing. Okay, don't just tell people you care, actually show them. All right, so you could say, well, you know, I care about the kids, I care about my community, but it's just talk. You know, it's easy for anybody to say that they care, but when you actually see the work that people do, you see, okay, this is missing. We need a team in this area. We need this sport that isn't being represented in our community. Flag football. Let's get that going. Let's get more of something else going. You know, whatever. Let's get more travel ball teams going. Let's get more different age groups for football, for baseball, for whatever, for basketball. So basically, if you look at your community and you see something is missing, then if the person who actually cares is going to go out and do something about it, the person who doesn't really care, they just act like they care, they're just going to talk about it. Now, I understand not everybody has free time on their hand unless you really, really work to make that free time. The people who care the most are probably going to make the free time, though. The people that just say they care, they're going to probably be more likely to find the excuse or just make a little bit of time. So that goes with relationships too. If you say you care, show you care. That goes to show with your job, with your career. If you say you actually care about your job, then show it. Like, don't just show up halfway and do any old kind of thing. You know, if you're an entrepreneur and you run a business and you actually care about building that business to success, then you're going to have to actually put in the work to show you actually care. But in terms of the tribute to Bruno, it's like there's nobody who could look and say for a second that this guy doesn't really, really care about his community. Most time we were just constantly trying to figure out how in the world is it possible to do everything like this, you know, this sport in 4 different age groups, that sport, these many age groups, travel ball in between, this sport, that many age groups, this sport, all that stuff. You gotta recruit the kids, you gotta communicate with the parents, you gotta coordinate the referees, pay the referees, coordinate the concessions, coordinate, make the schedule of the coaches, coordinate travel. Man, there's so much that goes into youth sports. It is crazy. I was Parks and Rec coordinator running multiple sports for years. I'm telling you, it is something else. And I was doing it as a job. But when you're doing it as a community volunteer, when you're putting everything together yourself, that's even harder. You know, because you don't have the infrastructure of the Parks and Rec department or the YMCA or something that's behind you, man. So let's all continue to remember the legacy of Cedric Bruno Brooks in the Tuskegee, Macon County and Tallahassee, Reeltown area. I know he's been involved in multiple things for kids in this whole area. So let that be a lesson. Let that be a good example to remember. Don't just tell people that you care. Actually show them. And if you actually care about your community, get out there, get involved. And if you really want to make stuff happen, you can make it happen. There are no excuses. You can really get out there and make it happen. Don't Don't just talk about what your community doesn't have. You find a way to get it done. You can get it done. No matter who you got to work with, no matter what you got to think of, no matter what you got to come up with, you can get it done. And Bruno was a shining example of that. I definitely will miss him tremendously, and so many more. Hundreds and hundreds of people here will also. The Midweek Motivation is sponsored by DCH Merch, dchmerch.com. Stay powerful, my friends, and long live Bruno. God bless.